Hi, I'm Bill Donohue, President of the Catholic League. This is Mike McDonald. He's the Director of Communications. I want to have a little conversation this morning about progressives, basically the Democratic Party today. Every time a major party gets walloped in the last presidential election, they have to do some soul searching. That's to be understood. And where the Democrats are falling short is reaching men. It didn't work when they had the tampon Tim, though.
No.
That didn't seem to work, but they tried that. Maybe it would work. He didn't have to operate the gun. He didn't even have to hold it right. But they're also trying to get to the working class. But the working class have nothing to do with them. All right, they all vote for Trump, and they also have people who are religious. Religious folk tend to vote for the Republicans. Now the question is this: can the Democrats reach out to people who are religious? That's our interest. They can, but what should they do? Warnock, for example, down in Georgia, is a pastor, and he's made some inroads there, and I think that's all commendable. The question is this: is there a kind of a wall there that they can't get over? They keep talking about social justice, and they go back to 1891, Rerum Novarum of New Things, Pope Leo the 13th, and we have the 14th now, sitting there in Rome. That's good. Pope Leo the 13th was talking about the rights of labor and fair wages, etc. And the social justice progressives today say that's a great thing. That's really us. Well, be careful on that. He didn't believe in socialism. In fact, he condemned it. He believed in private property. So just because you believe in fair wages for people doesn't mean that you're somehow a socialist. We pay fair wages to the Catholic League. That doesn't make us socialists. But today's brand of socialist is quite different. You want to jump in on that?
Yeah, it's crazy, Bill, and it's like you're saying. It's just a lot of the efforts seem very inauthentic. We've spoken in the past about Tallarico, but another figure that we talk about a lot here is Mayor Mamdani in New York. He's held up as sort of this poster child of, he's making inroads with religious minority communities, Muslims, other Asian religions, but you kind of look at his policies and then there's nothing there. You kind of look at what he talks about. There's a lot of vibes, a lot of feelings, but nothing sincere, nothing that you can really hang your head on as an accomplishment. And today you mentioned another person in your article, Romer. She's a lay leader in the Presbyterian Church USA.
Right, and she's a co-chair of the Democratic Socialist of America. That's not a political party. It's an organization, pretty much like the Catholic League. We represent Catholics, and they represent the socialists, some of whom they think are Democrats, but obviously they're not. But what has she done?
Yeah, she's done a lot of crazy things, at least from a perspective of traditional values.
Of social justice.
Yeah, on the social justice, it's just so...
abolishing the police and abolishing the prisons.
Abolish the police, abolish the prisons. Just let all these
get rid of the border.
Just wants everyone to come in.
How is that social justice?
And right, and you look at the communities that are most impacted by that, the communities that supposedly help. African American communities are supposed to benefit from getting rid of the police. They're the ones that want the cops. They want to be safe in their own
Every
neighborhoods.
survey shows that.
And same thing with some of the strongest supporters of immigration enforcement is the Latino community,
right?
Because it's their neighborhoods that are going to get invaded first. But you pointed out that this isn't just a one-off with Romer or the progressives today, that this is sort of baked into the progressive cake, that they have always sort of been promoting these ideas that sound good on paper, but actually specifically hurt those communities.
But how is it social justice also, Mike, when they argue that men should compete against women in sports? Where's the social justice for the gals? What about when the guy invades the privacy of the woman in the shower room? That's what they're in favor of. They say it. I don't say it. They say it. It's very clear what they're saying, the progressives. I don't see how that deals with social justice. You can go right down the line on all these kind of radical ideas. It's basically anarchic more than it has anything to do with social justice. So if progressives, Democrats want to reach out to people of faith, we would encourage them to do so. But to do it in a way maybe like Martin Luther King did, perhaps Warnock is trying to be in that vein. I don't know. But when these people like Mamdani and Reagan Romer and others, what they're promising, there's nothing to do with social justice. And too much of it is based on the politics of envy, which is not good for the country.
And it's also, as you mentioned, a lot of these things are specifically against traditional moral values. Men in the women's locker room, men in women's sports, they have a lust for abortion. All of these things that they champion are off-putting to people of faith. People of faith with traditional values don't identify with that, so it does come across as inauthentic, and you have to push all this nonsense.
And let me just make one final comment here, Mike, to punctuate what you said. The people in the pews, whether you're Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, Muslim, whether you're in a mosque, in a temple with the Hindus, synagogue, church, they tend to be people who hold to traditional moral values. Now, they're not a monolith. There's diversity there too, but for the most part, they're not attracted to the idea of abolishing the prisons and having the men compete against women and share the locker room with them. That's a much more individualistic and very secular kind of minded idea. And to the extent that it is grounded in secularism, how then do you reach people of faith? I think they have a big hill to climb, and we'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on it here at the Catholic League. Thank you.